Join us as we discuss Super Metroid on the next episode of the Time Hop Podcast. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the Time Hop Podcast. I'm your host, Dave Lozada. I'm joined with Lindsay Schubert.
Hello.
And Tim Ronan.
Howdy.
In case you don't know, the Time Hop Podcast is a podcast that plays games of the past to let you know if they're worth playing. Today's episode is all about Super Metroid, perhaps one of the most influential Nintendo video games ever made, originally released for the SNES on March 19th, 1994. Sorry about that. But before we get into Super Metroid, how you guys doing? Lindsay, how was your week? You surviving?
Good.
How's the move?
Last week of packing pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah, I go on Tuesday, so exciting stuff.
Wow. Right there, you're really right then and there. Only 4 days left, huh?
Yep.
Wow.
And it's like, feels far away, but it also feels very close at the same time. It's like trying to figure out where my head is at really and how I'm gonna be when the actual day comes. So, weird mindset. Especially because it's my first time being on my own, so. But excited nonetheless.
As you should be. It is an exciting time. Did you catch up with all your manga and video gaming and stuff like that?
I am attempting to get through friggin' Picross 3D on the DS. I believe I only have 5 levels left, and then I'll sell the game. I'm going to my university and the game shop tomorrow to sell a bunch of things, donate a bunch of things like mangas, shonen jumps, games, and a console. So that should work out nicely.
That's very good. That's very kind of you to be donating all those stuff. It's like KonMari method, you know that? The Marie Kondo.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, it's like letting go of things that you don't use anymore, and after I finished watching that show on Netflix, like I just like started letting go of all this, like these games that I'd never, would even think about playing again. I was like, I know it's kind of like sacrilegious to, especially retro gamers and stuff like that, like probably people who are listening to this podcast, but I don't know. I feel like if I'm not enjoying it, if I don't even know it exists, it's in my library, like why even keep it there? Let somebody else enjoy it. So
yeah, like a lot of games I have, even though I beat it, I will come back to it, and then there are other games that are just enjoyable with friends, or I'll be like, a friend might want to play this, so I'll keep it around. But I feel like with Picross 3D, it's a game along with the other games I'm donating, or not specifically selling those. It's several of those games I could never see myself coming back to those. And even if a friend wants to play it, we'll go along less legal means. So
yeah, I see what you mean. And Tim, how are you doing? How was your week?
It was alright. I learned that there is a Carly Rae Jepsen board game. So
Whoa.
That's a thing.
Really? How does it play?
It's a tabletop RPG where you like.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
What?
no, it's real. I'll hang on. I'll send you the link.
What? What is this?
Sounds like a myth.
There was like this meme about her that like I don't really recall. I don't really keep up with Carly Rae Jepsen at all, much less her memes. But like there was a meme of her like she had like a sword or some kind of weapon, and she brought it on stage with her. Like a fan gave it to her. Did you guys? Are you aware of this?
I've never seen that.
No.
Yeah, she brought like a some kind of weapon with her on stage, and she was like waving it around as she was doing a concert or something. It's real weird. I
Huh.
don't know. I don't understand why, but it became a meme, and it's like something like symbolizing the Carly Rae Jepsen fandom. I don't know. It's weird.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I sent you guys a link
Oh, I gotta see this.
for you to see that.
What is this
But
shit?
yeah, it's a tabletop RPG where you have to like steal 200 of her unreleased songs from someone who's hoarding them for himself, I guess.
Yo,
Oh,
what
yeah.
is this? It's a heist tabletop RPG.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Yo, this is crazy. This is crazy, dude. It's like steampunk and everything. What the
This is crazy.
lasers and
So here's my number.
no,
Call me
no,
maybe.
Oh my
shut
God,
up. No. I set myself up for that one.
Yes, you did.
You really did.
Oh my god. Dude, but this is like out of this world. Like this is like not it almost looks like Dark Souls. Like I don't know, it's weird. It's really weird.
Yeah, at least the cover art is like legit.
Yeah, and then the title's Boy Problems. It's like
Yeah.
it's like you have this really cool ass cover art. It's like steampunk and like really gritty. And then on the top, the typeface is Boy Problems. You know, it's like okay.
Yeah, I would just get it to meme. That
Yeah,
would be
like
it.
it like completely invalidates the entire artwork, like the text on top. But it looks cool. Like I don't know. There's something about like I don't know what it is, but there's like a Carly Rae Jepsen fandom, like a huge fandom that I don't like that most people are not aware of, and I don't know. Maybe this is tapping into that. It's I don't know. New Horizons. Perhaps one day we will be discussing about the Carly Rae Jepsen Boy Problems tabletop RPG. But until then, let's move on to news of the week. Before we go into the past, let's take a look at the present. Lindsay, let's start us off. What was your news topic for this week? Your favorite news topic for this week?
So, I recently started watching some of the old Digimon cartoon. It's on, well, you can watch it on Amazon Prime through Stars. Through having a Stars subscription too. But coincidentally, the same week I'm watching it, they freaking announced a new Digimon movie called Digimon Adventure. It's being released next year, 2020. I don't think that there are any details released about it. They have the poster for it in Japanese. So I think that they just like advertised it in Japan pretty much, and then word got over here in America. So as far as I know, there's not really any details on it. So
That's cool. I really like the original Digimon anime. I wasn't like religiously following like I was like Pokemon, but I do remember the theme song like Digimon, Digitalmon, right? That's how it went.
yeah,
Yeah. I forgot
there's like a small fan base of Digimon
Yeah,
people.
You know what was really cool about Digimon? The card game. They had really cool like cards. I remember as a kid, like one of my misfit friends, like he would bring in like everybody would have like Pokemon cards and Yu-Gi-Oh cards, of course. But then this one guy, there's one bastard brought in the Digimon cards, and he's like, "What about let's play a game of Digimon?" And everybody would be looking at him like, "What the hell is this kid?" And but they were actually really cool looking. He gave me one actually after I became friends with him. Uh, and it's like they're like almost all of them are like holographic. It's cool, like, and they're all different colors and stuff. I don't know.
Mm.
I thought it was cool. It's well, Pokemon has different colors too, right? But I don't know. Digimon was cooler. Anyway, yeah.
What?
Huh? What?
I don't really care either way. I was just
Like, I don't give a shit. Tim, what's your news story this week?
My news is that yesterday, I think, Nintendo announced over Twitter that they are making a new venture into VR with Labo. They're like cardboard, foldy, papercraft type thing. I think they like usually. I guess if they make announcements, it's like maybe in the morning or something. But this was like I guess later at night, so it's kind of like random. It's like, oh, here's the thing. So yeah, it's going to come with sort of like a base kit, and then there's different supplementary kind of things you can get with it. So there's like a bazooka, there's a camera, some kind of foot pedal or something. They actually, some of the things that they're releasing with this were like in the original ads for the Labo, but they weren't things you could actually build yet. So you could like, in the original ad, there was like a camera at one point, but that never, until now, that wasn't like something you could actually buy, or it wasn't like available anywhere. But yeah, it's been some time since they've gone down this road, which most of us know was not very successful for them originally.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't really. Nintendo Labo as a whole, I like when you were like, yeah, it just kind of came out it came out of nowhere yesterday. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's kind of Nintendo Labo in general. It just kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know what to make of it because from what I saw, like, yeah, Tim, were you gonna say something?
I was just gonna say, I mean, I'm glad they're trying it because, we have there's a lot more viability for doing VR these days. I mean, even still, it's kind of still getting its legs and developing, but it makes sense that they would try eventually.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they're trying it.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. Like, I agree that they're like kind of keeping up with that the fact that they're trying to keep up with someone like PlayStation, whose PlayStation VR is doing incredibly well. That they're adapting kind of and learning from them. I feel like that's a really good sign as to who this new Nintendo is. Because I do feel like with the Switch, Nintendo did change a lot. With, all of its policies. Like I believe it's region free, right? And also more mature games are on the platform, et cetera, et cetera. So, I don't know. Like, I feel like this is a step in the right direction, but I still don't understand who the Labo audience is. I don't understand, like, I'm assuming it's just for kids, but also, like, why? I don't know. I'm just very skeptical of it.
I guess kind of one thing is like, I mean, I personally feel like I really like the Labo because I enjoy that type of like engineering, mechanical type of thing. But I guess a downside of it is that there's like all these different peripherals and different kits that you have. So
Hmm.
it amounts to like all these things that you now have in addition to like the console itself.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a steep barrier to entry, and it's just strange to me that like Nintendo would do this because like if I were a kid, I'd be more interested in doing like I was like you, Tim. I mean, I still am like you. Like I like building things and like making. You probably like it more than I, but like I like engineering and I like putting things together and I like like building Legos and like building making things work and like mechanisms and robots and stuff like that. And I've built like very basic ones like cars and stuff like that, like toy cars and stuff like that. But like if I were a kid, and this was me growing up in the '90s, like like what incentive would I have to turn my Switch into that, whereas I could just buy a robot or something and build it myself, like buy Legos. I don't know. I feel like the market that they're getting into is already so saturated that it's like it doesn't have a voice. Maybe I'm speaking too much like a
mhm.
marketing guy, but like I just feel like it doesn't have a voice of its own, and it's just getting lost in this either. Like it's just not It's not being communicated well. Um, I think it's a very innovative concept. I really like how the you know
Yeah, it is. It's pretty Nintendo. It's kind of a weird experiment of theirs, but they're good at doing that.
yeah. I mean, I love Nintendo for this very reason because they're not afraid to do these things. They're not afraid to put their money where their mouth is and just experiment and innovate and change the gaming landscape. I mean, it's pretty obvious to say that Nintendo Switch kind of revolutionized you know the gaming landscape. I mean, it's still the best selling console as of right now. As of not of all time, but it's the best. It's the best selling console, and it's been that way for a consecutive number of months now. So like they clearly have their head in the game, but at the same time, back to my earlier points, like I don't see where Labo is going. I don't know. I appreciate it. I appreciate Labo, and I am happy that it exists. But at the same time, and if I had money to spend, I probably would invest in Labo. But at the same time, like me right now, it's not doesn't really interest me, uh, especially
I mean, I would
at
say
some point.
that people are gonna get Labo, and it's still different from other things that you could construct. Toys, Legos, whatever. It's different from all those because you could use it for your Nintendo Switch. You could use your Nintendo Switch in a different way than before. It makes it a cooler way to play with the Switch, and I would be freaking out over it if I was a kid. Like this would, I'm still amazed by it. I haven't purchased any of the Labo kits myself because of like space and money. So when I do have the space and money, I would get the kits because it would. I would love to create my own stuff, and whenever I do have my own kids, I think that they would really appreciate something like the Labo.
Yeah, I suppose.
Mhm.
I'm just being
I
very
think
pessimistic for no reason.
one thing I just realized is that um, so there is you can like they have like the kits and they have their own like specific games you can play with that, but you can also program your own games with this like kind of program drag and drop type thing called the Toy-Con Garage, which
Yeah, yeah.
I just remembered that. So I'm pretty excited to see what people are going to do with that using the new VR thing. That
Yeah,
could be
that's just
pretty cool.
another reason the Labo is pretty cool because not only is it you know controller creating, like playing it in a different way, but you're not only creating the controller, but you're creating the game. So it's giving the audience more control over their gaming experience.
Mm-hmm. So would you say that there's like a community being built around this? Do you see like people talking about this a lot, like online or in general?
I mean, personally, I see like on the um there's like the Nintendo community on the Switch, and people will post their Labo creations.
Oh, really?
So I see that there's a community in there. I'm not sure how uh, large the community is, but yeah, it's there.
Hmm, that's interesting. Okay, I I'm not. I don't have a Nintendo Switch, so like I wouldn't know. Like, I'm not really engaged with their like with their community. I'm not. I don't frequent their Reddit, or anything like that. So, um, yeah, I don't really interact regularly with their consumer base. But if there's an audience, if they have a community and the community is willing to like continually buy Labo and experiment and stuff like that, and you know, um, make new experiences and invite people to make variations of it, then I don't see what the problem is. If anything, it's promoting imagination, and I'm all for it. So
Mhm.
it's only a good thing, Tim. Like the news that you have today is only a good thing because, you know, people having imaginations and exploring what they can do with cardboard of all things is just it's great. It's fun and uh, it's what magic is made of. No, crickets. Crickets from everyone. Well, yes, shut up, David. Anyway, uh, my news story this week is all about Death Stranding, which is a complete departure from anything about magic and goodness and stuff like that. Hideo Kojima.
Just strange baby fetuses
Babies.
in jars.
Yeah, pretty much, and death that's stranded somewhere.
Being,
Uh,
yeah, being strange. Just death.
exactly. So, Death Stranding, as everyone knows, is Hideo Kojima's newest game, Productions' newest game, being published by Sony exclusively on PS4 as what we know right now. He said in an interview, Kojima that is, it's that Death Stranding is a little behind schedule, and he quote unquote said it's common for studios to fall behind their planned release date, and Death Stranding is very slightly behind our initial plan, but not behind by much. So it's good to see that this game is still alive, I guess. I don't really know anything. I don't think anybody knows anything about it aside from like a few select people. I don't know if I should be worried. I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys feel about it? Like, are you excited at all for it? Are you concerned that it's a little behind? I'll leave it open to you guys. What do you think?
I'm not really concerned about it, like releasing with many issues. I mean, I think it'll be a successful game, and if it Smash, even though this is Kojima and he's not associated with it, it just goes along the lines of how the Smash games have gone. Like the Smash games in general have gone through a lot of delays, and then generally the audience is always very pleased with the outcome. So, I mean, Ultimate had a ton of delays, and I remember Brawl having a ton of delays.
Mm,
So, I mean, I think that having delays is better than the alternative, and
mm-hmm.
releasing it undone. Uh,
Right.
I'm excited for what I've seen about Death Stranding. They showed the more revealing trailer at E3 last year, where
Right.
you just see Norman Reedus backpacking, and then like shit's going down in the middle of the wild. So it looks interesting because it looks multi-themed, and from what I've seen of it I would be excited to play it. So
Yeah, it's like an ogre. It has a lot of layers, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
just like Shrek.
Just like Shrek. Yeah. Tim, what do you think? Does Death Stranding have a lot of layers, just like Shrek?
Sure, definitely. Like a parfait.
Sure.
That's a Shrek thing.
Yeah,
Parfait.
definitely.
Sure.
Uh, um, yeah. Well, since you brought up Smash, Lindsay, another news story that came out. Not to double dip here, but another news story that came out that just came to mind was. Did you guys hear this? Was Sakurai going on record and he said that he used an IV drop during
Oh
development?
yeah,
Did you guys hear
yeah.
that?
He did what?
He used an IV drop to like keep himself awake during Smash Ultimate's
Oh,
development.
development.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know.
yeah. Man, I feel bad for that guy. Damn. Man, can you imagine?
Actually, what's an IV drop?
It's
Oh my
basically
God.
like an intravenous, intravenous drop. I don't know how to explain it. An intravenous wire that's inside your arm or wherever, and you're basically getting drip fed water
Oh,
to stay conscious. I think it's usually water. I mean, or some kind of like iodine or something to keep you. I don't know these medical terminologies. I don't know, but you're drip fed something, and to keep you awake and conscious. And you basically have to carry around this bag with you at all times so that you could stay conscious throughout the day. So everyone's just like praying for Sakurai. That's what it is.
is that legit or was that?
No, it's legit. I'm totally serious. Like he
Yeah,
went on
it's
record.
like
Oh,
an official article,
Yeah.
and
that's not
yeah.
great.
Yeah, and then like I think this was an IGN or something, and I saw the comments because I love reading the comments, especially on IGN, and the comments were like, "Retire, Sakurai, retire!" They were like, "Come on, just retire already." They're like, I mean, I feel the same way. Like, Jesus, like just leave. Just like, I mean, not leave, but like just give yourself a break, man. You've done enough. Smash Ultimate is a great game, and just leave it at that. I don't know. Let somebody else handle the DLC. I'm sure it'll turn out fine. Wow. But
It's crazy.
yeah. But we'll see. We'll see how he fares with Smash Ultimate's DLC and next Smash game, if there is one. So yeah. All right, so let's move on to the topic of the show. This week, we're talking about Super Metroid, which originally released for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System on March 19th, 1994, not 1999, because it's 25 years old, not 20 years old. This is basically following the events of Metroid 2, Return of Samus. It's the third installment in the Metroid series overall, and it stars Samus, again, who travels to the planet Zebi. What are you laughing? Did I say it wrong?
The way that you said it was just funny to me. Sorry.
Yeah, because people they say her name different ways. But basically, Samus, she goes to the planet the Zebis to retrieve an infant Metroid creature stolen by the space pirate leader named Ridley, who just made his introduction to Smash Brothers. What a coincidence. So a lot of people love this game, and it's frequently cited as kind of like the the foundation for a lot of indie games today because it focuses so heavily on exploration mechanics and like a lot of power ups and stuff like that. At least for me, this is one of my you know, why I love the game so much is because a lot of like power ups and stuff like that, you would backtrack and you'd find that they were hiding in plain sight all along. And you know, it's kind of like each area is only opened up more as you learn more about the game and its environments and stuff like that. It also has an auto map, which is very useful because the original Metroid didn't have one, and that was very annoying. And you know, you had to like kind of draw it out in a notebook or something, and or like a piece of paper, and it was kind of like giving you a headache at one point. But anyway, this game really needs no more introduction. Let's move into its presentation. What do you guys think of Super Metroid's presentation? Tim, start us off. What do you think of it?
Well, I feel like I wind up saying this a lot, but uh, it does feel like that it holds up really well after like 25 years. It's not, you can look at it and it's like, oh, that's pretty cool looking. Like there's all these different creature designs and there's a lot of attention to detail in their sprite work, and it's pretty dang good.
Yeah, I mean, I like the variety of like the aliens or the creatures or whatever. Like one of them that comes to mind is like there's like a mantis-like creature that's really cool, and I don't know, like you could when you shoot them, like parts of them explode instead of like their entire creature. So it almost feels like you're chopping away like at the enemy, which is very morbid when I say it out loud, but it's very kind of realistic and also very solemn and gruesome.
Do they come apart? You mean like while you're fighting them, like parts of their bodies come off
No, no,
gradually?
no.
Is that what you mean?
No. Like when you're shooting them, like it appears that way. Like they're kind of like they explode like slowly. I don't know how to explain it. Like the impact, there are like clouds when it impacts, and it seems like there are like bits of them being taken out. Kind of like when you, like in Street Fighter, not Street Fighter, but like Mortal Kombat, when you're punching an enemy and a little bit of blood comes out.
Oh, okay.
Kind of that in that sense. It's not dynamic in the sense that you'd see parts
Like
actually
an arm
fly.
fall off.
Yeah,
Like you're still fighting it.
exactly. Not like Fallout or something like that. You know, it's not as dynamic as that, but it has that impression, and it's cool because it's, you know, again, it's gruesome, and it also fits so well with the franchise, I think. But Lindsay, what do you think of Super Metroid's presentation?
I mean, first of all, how the game looks is freaking aesthetic.
Yeah.
uh, Secondly, this game, even though it's the third in the Metroid series, this is what, set up the theme of Metroidvania.
Yep.
It wasn't Metroid 1 or Metroid 2, it was Super Metroid, like, it has, as you mentioned, the map, which also marks the rooms that you've been to, and then you have the separate rooms that you need to go to for unlocking certain items, and then you need to defeat certain enemies, and it's better if you go to some rooms and not others. Like,
Yeah.
it's what paved the way for um, pretty much the next 25 years up to now, and it's still paving the way. Like one of you mentioned before, it's influenced indies. One indie that I think about, and it's known for being pretty much like a Metroid remake or Super Metroid remake, is pretty much Axiom Verge on
Oh
Steam.
yeah. Oh my God, that game is good.
Like, I've seen speedruns of both, and very, very similar. Very good games.
Yeah.
Like this game, it makes sense why it would be so monumental 25 years later. And you know, people speedrun this game like every single marathon, every single like games done quick marathon. This would be the game that would be speedrun at least once.
Mm-hmm.
Because like it's that iconic.
And then Mario 64 right after, right? Right? Or something of that nature.
So sometimes, well, Mario 64 is in there like half the time, but
Oh,
you
okay.
know that one is, of course, we know that one's pretty damn iconic too.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Mm. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you guys. Like, Super Metroid is really like the indie scene today. It wouldn't be what it is without Super Metroid. That's just obvious. You know, you mentioned Axiom Verge, which is a game I love, and I love Axiom Verge for the game itself, but also for its developer, which is just one guy, and like he's just a crazy accomplished guy. I think his name is Thomas Happ, right? I believe so. And he's just like a very like I don't know, a very down to earth human being. Like his son was, you know, diagnosed with a very rare disease. I don't know. Forgive me for the tangent, but his son was diagnosed with a very rare disease, and you know he was really like banking on this game to do well for him. And lo and behold, Super Metroid's influence actually helped him make a game that's helping his son get through life and cover all his medical bills and stuff like that. So like Super Metroid, if you look at it as a whole, it really does it affects entire lives. Like just how monumental this game is, and other great games like Shovel Knight come to mind, right? Did you guys ever play that? Yeah. So yeah, like Shovel Knight, to a lesser extent like Shantae, the Shantae series. I don't know what else. The list goes on and on, really. And yeah, we really don't need to talk about that much more because it's really just almost perfect, as close to perfect as you can for a side scroller, in my opinion. What about the game's? Well, we talked about its gameplay a little bit. What about its sound design? Lindsay, what do you think of its sound? Does it kind of aid in the presentation and the whole, I don't know, the look and the feel of the game? What would you say?
Yeah, definitely. Like the sound and including the soundtrack, it gives you the right feel of the environment. You're in space fighting aliens, and you have this kind of like mysterious, well, it feels mysterious to me, music, and it gives you the feeling of you're in space around of unknown creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's nothing that you could really jam to. Like I jam to the Super Metroid soundtrack kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It
Mm-hmm.
it's good. It's just nothing like oh yeah, this is a bop right here or anything
Yeah.
like that.
Pass me the aux cord. Like nothing like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim, what do you think?
Yeah, no, that's pretty on point because like it feels like some tracks are maybe even less like music, but just more sounds and atmosphere in general.
Yeah.
And a lot of the stuff is pretty moody and just atmospheric and like kind of unsettling. And even like I think like even the rooms where you get new items has like weird kind of like non-music where it's just like kind of bleeps and bloops and then this sort of background atmosphere noise.
Mm-hmm.
And that I feel that kind of aids in the whole like unsettled kind of vibe. Because normally when you get a new item, it's like, oh, this is great, this is exciting.
Yeah.
But instead, it's like, no, this is still scary or weird.
Mhm.
Almost like it almost takes a tone of like, okay, you have a new thing, now go survive better against the horrors that you're going to be facing off against.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
I mean, there is a little bit of like fanfare when you pick up the thing, um, but that is a little brief, and then it's like, all right, now go back and fight some more.
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree with you. Like, it's like the I like to think of it as like the antithesis of the complete opposite. Let me use that terminology of the Legend of Zelda, where it's like you open up a chest and it goes dun 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 dun, right?
Oh my god, you're amazing!
Yeah, like you're really like patting yourself on the back, right? And then here it's similar. It's not like a dun 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 dun, but it's like it's similar. Like, wow, you got this thing, or like these rockets, for instance, and it's cool. And especially when it's like, as I mentioned before, when it was like hiding in plain sight the entire time, and you're like, holy shit, I actually got it, and I could actually go through the next area. That's really cool. But again, and I love how you mentioned this, Tim. Like everything, like those bleeps and bloops in the distance, like a lot of the sound in this game feels very distant, like very removed. Like it's like you're there, but also like you're not there, and it makes you feel
Mm.
like isolated and alone. It's similar
Mhm.
to like Metroid Fusion in that way, because it's and I think the Metro games in general, they do this very well, where like they make you feel like you really are on this planet and you really have no other resort other than just killing, any enemy that you see around you and just trying to make it out alive. It's really a game of survival. The series does it so well as a whole, especially even when you get to Metro Prime and like the first person games and the 3D games, but for some reason I think it hits its stride here just because it's just so, I don't know, man. It's very hard to describe. It's atmospheric, I suppose, is the best way to to explain it, and it's something that very few video games at that time, I think, nailed well. I think Castlevania, like Symphony of the Night, did that well, but aside from that, like this is really good. uh, Moving on to, no, let's talk about like just in general. Like, do you think that this game is it worth playing in 2019? Should we celebrate it? Is it worth celebrating its 25th anniversary? Lindsay, start us off. What do you think? Is it a noteworthy title?
I mean, absolutely. You know, as I said before, it's still laying the groundwork for games being made today. It's still inspiring people. And it inspired a whole genre, combined with the Castlevania series. So I think that any like hardcore casual gamer should play through this game to really understand gaming as a whole, because it set some boundaries and it set some boundaries in the video game industry, for people to follow by.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it laid a lot of foundations. Yeah. Uh, Tim, what do you think? Is it worth experiencing today, Super Metroid?
Yeah, pretty much same thing. I mean, it's helped to. It's still very relevant today, and again, in terms of some of the things, some of the games that are coming out and inspired a lot of people, and a whole like genre basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Like, it, it's just, I feel like so many people today take the like indie games stuff like that is like, oh, they're filler, or like they take them for granted, kind of. Even the ones that are very good and very noteworthy, and I feel like that's not. I don't know. Maybe call me old fashioned, but I feel like maybe they should take the time to kind of take a break from maybe some more recent video games, like open world. The next battle royale game, or the next open world game, or whatever. Not that those are bad, but just take a break and then just go back in time and see where gaming began, and see like its very humble beginnings in stuff like Super Metroid, because I feel like because developers had such limited resources back then, it almost encouraged them to experiment with with their imagination, and just kind of see what they can come up with on a 2D plane, And the fact of the matter is that Super Metroid really establishes this, again, atmospheric vibe, and like this really satisfying gameplay loop where you're uncovering things about the world that you didn't even know about it. You're fighting like hidden passageways, and you're finding new weapons, and you're meeting new villains and stuff like that, and you're like, holy shit, this is so cool. And it does this all like on a little cartridge. It's amazing to me. Especially on the SNES, it's amazing how much of an experience this is for it being 25 years old. I don't know about what you guys think, but that's my takeaway, my major takeaway from Super Metroid. It's so much for what looks like so little, And is it worth playing today? I'd say definitely yes. I'd say now is probably the best time to even go back, seeing as how it's a really major milestone, and we owe so much to it. So yeah, drop everything and play Super Metroid right now. So that about wraps up our impressions of Super Metroid. Thanks for joining us for this topic of the show. Join us next week as we discuss Pokemon Snap, which is celebrating its 20th anniversary this month. It released March 21st, 1999. Are you guys fans of Pokemon Snap?
Yes.
Yeah, they said that simultaneously.
No. I said eh.
Oh, really? You said eh? Okay.
Yeah.
This will be interesting then. Very interesting. I remember playing Pokemon Snap at the dentist office. It's really
What?
weird. Yeah.
Oh, like in the lobby or
Yeah, like in the little lobby.
room. Okay.
And I would play like all the time, because I had like really weird.
That's cool.
I had like good memories of it.
My I don't think they have it anymore. This was like, I don't know, 10 more years ago. But in my orthodontist office, they had like some arcade cabinets, like 2 of them, I think. One of them was like Sonic. I don't remember which one, but that was pretty cool.
Sick. That's awesome.
It was. Yeah.
Damn. So like
What
really like
doctors
retro.
are you seeing? Oh my god.
That's really freaking cool. So it was like retro, like really.
I guess so. It was a really long time. I mean, that was when my brother was going there, not even myself. I think by the time I was going there, it might have been gone. But I don't know.
Dude, that's dope, yo. Like, if I ever become a dentist, I'm gonna do that now. Damn, that's cool.
Hey, it's good side hustle.
That's cool.
Maybe maybe it's cheap
whenever
to
I
charge
see-
people, but
Yeah, I know,
Whenever I
right?
see a doctor, it's only a TV, and they have on like friggin' court shows. That's it.
oh, those are the best.
Or like
Well,
Jerry
they-
Springer or something like that.
Yeah, they'll
Judge
have
Judy?
that on.
Judge Judy,
Yeah.
yeah, that's my girl. I love
Yeah.
Judge Judy.
I actually legit liked watching it in like high school.
What, Judge
I don't know
Judy?
why. Yeah.
Judge Judy's the
I
best,
still
dude.
enjoy watching.
I love
Good
her.
show.
Yo, she's like a multi-millionaire. Like she makes
Yeah.
like millions of dollars like a week. Did you see the story
Yeah.
once that came out that like she was like, I don't know, like because her show was on syndication, like direct to syndication, it was like she was making like something like $3 million an episode or something, like more than Jerry Seinfeld or
Jeez.
yeah, it was crazy. I was like, what the fuck, you know, like you would never would have expected that, but yeah, Judge Judy's she's business, dude. Anyway,
It. I mean, I did enjoy watching that, but it was always kind of weird, like wanting to take your case onto a show like that. I mean,
yeah,
I don't
It
know.
is weird.
At least for me, it's like I don't want it like televised.
yeah, it's like
Yeah,
weird.
like everybody's gonna know my business, and
You'd have like some weird ass
Yeah,
people there too, though. So I feel like I don't know.
I mean, they're the type of people who would maybe want to do that, I guess. But
Yeah, exactly. Like you've got like I remember some of them were like just bizarre. Like one of them was like, yeah, he stole my dog, but I had my dog back, but he like shaved my dog, so now I'm gonna sue him because he shaved my dog. Or so, like I remember one of them was like that, or come on, they've been weirder than that actually. Tim, you
mhm.
probably. So like it was like one of some of like there's usually a lot of dog cases for some reason, and like all this really bizarre shit. I don't know, but
Yeah,
yeah,
it's just weird to like they lay out the scenario and then like over the course of it, it's like the audience basically is like laughing at like your misfortunes. Like that's just weird. I don't want that. Stop laughing at me. You have problems. I know you do.
yeah, I know, right? Like the case, like, and
Just
then
because I'm being vulnerable, you don't get to laugh at me.
yeah, I know, like it's true, like it's like some people are like really dumb too, though. Like there was one like some dude was clearly like really high, right? And like he's like he because he oh man, there was a really good one now. It comes to mind. Like he was like on a ski slope or something, and like he was suing like for some reason like his teacher was on the same slope as he was, and like he oh fuck I forgot what it was. Like he bumped into her like as he was going down, and then he broke his leg or something, and then he was suing her for damages, and it was just like it was like a really bizarre case. And then he had like his friend who was clearly really high, like there was like a graph next to them, and the graph was of the of the mountain, and it was showing the trajectory of the friend going down it was like it was crazy. I cannot make this shit up. I remember this like it was yesterday because it was so bizarre. And this dude had like long blonde hair. It was really funny. He looked like he just like smoked a big fat blunt, and like it was great, dude. It was great. Um, but anyway, before we gush more about Judge Judy, let's move on to what we're playing next week. Tim, start us off. What are you going to be playing next week?
So I've actually been doing some GTA 5 like online recently. Yeah. Um, yeah, just had a hankering for it. So I decided, you know what? I'm gonna just mess around online and make money and do various illicit things with like drugs and stuff and make money. So that sounds like fun.
Why else would you play GTA?
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Just,
really
I
want
mean,
to play
whatever.
the game again. It's been a while.
I guess the problem I would have is that sometimes it felt like there wasn't a whole lot to do, which maybe, I guess that sounds silly, but I don't know. Like sometimes it's harder to, because like, I guess like, the main thing you do is like the different jobs and missions and like races, but sometimes people don't want to do that. So
Yeah.
it can be hard to get a game started. And it's like, well, all right, well then what do I do then? But I think since I've played it, obviously Rockstar has added like tons of stuff. Like they still support this game, obviously. It's like their cash cow. So they've added like events you can do that pop up every now and then, and you can get money from that. So that's cool. I think my favorite thing to do is just like, it's probably what other people do as well, but I like getting a high wanted level and just holding out as long as I can against just endless waves of cops. And I usually hold out in like a construction site at the top.
And you just
It's
mow
fun.
everyone down. You just like
Yep,
nice.
basically.
That's
Yeah,
really
I
cool.
would do that, and I actually specifically looked for like hiding places, like just online. And there was this one guide for hiding places. It detailed you go in like some place like Upper Los Santos, and you glitch into a building, and then you just watch cops keep trying to shoot you, missing. It's one of the best things that I love about that game. But the last time I attempted it was like 2 years ago, and I think that they patched it out. I'm not sure.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I really don't know. I really can't join this conversation because I don't know anything about GTA 5. But I'm glad to hear that it's still active and that people are, playing it, I guess. Um, yeah, I really don't have any point of reference. I'm sorry. But yeah, I mean, it seems like GTA 5 is like more successful than Red Dead Redemption 2, right? From what I can glean.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's had like five,
Oh
six
yeah,
years over it, I guess.
but I mean, like in terms of like the online functionality, like for some reason people are staying, like they're going back, like Rockstar fans, from what I've read, like they're very unsatisfied with Red Dead Redemption 2's online portion, and they're going back to GTA 5. Is that true?
Yeah, I think if I remember, people have been having problems with like maybe it being like too grindy in Red Dead, or like you just need a lot of money to get stuff, or even the stuff you can buy maybe isn't great or something.
I
I'm not
see.
completely sure, but
Hmm. It's interesting. I don't know. Uh, Lindsay, what are you going to be playing this upcoming week?
So as I mentioned earlier in the episode, I'm gonna finish up Across 3D. Hopefully this time I'll actually finish up Pokemon Quest. As I said, it depends on RNG. So you just gotta keep playing it and hope for the right um like gems or whatever that they give you, and then gems are certain, like they give you a certain number of like attack and defense bonuses. It that's it's such heavy RNG, but since the game came out, I dedicated myself to 100%ing it, so I'm not gonna stop. Um, I think I'll speedrun Tony Hawk's American Wasteland tonight on stream, because then I have to pack the Wii. So,
That's right.
and then more Super Mario Party playing on stream, probably on not Saturday. I'll probably just play that tomorrow, because Saturday I'm busy.
Yeah, you're gonna.
I think I'm gonna see Captain Marvel with friends on Saturday. So.
Yeah, I kind of want to see it, but I kind of don't.
I
I don't know. Like, are you looking forward to it? I'm not.
I don't know too much about it. I mean, I've been kind of disappointed with the Marvel movies. I mean, okay, so the two movies that I've loved, I believe, is Venom Marvel or is it
It,
DC? I can't remember
it's
what Venom
technically
is.
a Marvel.
That's Marvel, right?
Yeah, it's Marvel.
Marvel,
Yeah.
okay. So I was satisfied with Venom, and then all the way back to Black Panther, I loved. So ever since after Black Panther, it was hard for me to find another superhero movie that came out last year that I liked. But then Venom came out, and I did like it, though the CGI was not so great.
Did you see Infinity War?
I didn't see it.
What? Why not? You gotta see Infinity War, man. It's like
I'll,
the
I'll
best.
eventually see it. It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix, dude. It's really good. It's really, really good.
I've heard really good things about it.
Yeah. It's like crazy good, dude.
But yeah,
That
hopefully Captain Marvel will be good. I mean, I saw Aquaman. Our Aquaman was too great, but visually it was beautiful. So
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen Aquaman. I haven't seen Venom. I've seen the Marvel movies. Like I've seen most of them. I think the only one the only one I haven't seen is the Dark World, Thor: The Dark World, Thor 2. But I heard that one was like really shitty, so it doesn't even matter. So yeah, I think I've seen all of them, and yeah, I kind of love these. I kind of love the movies, but like, um, when they announced Captain Marvel and they released the first trailer for it, I was like, oh, like I wasn't really excited for it, you know. And then as I was watching more stuff about it and stuff like that, I was like, okay, like it doesn't really, it didn't became my interest in the same way that like Doctor Strange did, or like, you know, like Black Panther, or like these other heroes. Not because she's a girl, not because I'm sexist or any, like not because of that stuff. Like Wonder Woman was really cool, you know, like because it was like they played like, I remember the first Wonder Woman trailer. They played like the Amazon the her theme song, like of the Amazon Warriors. Do you remember that? No. Well, like in the first trailer, they played like this really cool theme song, and I was like, "Yo, this is dope as fuck! I'm gonna see this," and I did, and it was a good movie, you know. And like I never had that with Captain Marvel, so like I'm like, I kind of like, yeah, I kind of want to see it because I've seen almost every other Marvel movie, but at the same time, I'm like, I like to save that $20. So like, you know, I'm on the fence. And Tim, I know you don't like Marvel movies very much, right?
No, I like him.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Have you seen? Which ones have you seen?
Well, I saw Infinity War.
Yeah.
I saw, I think Thor Ragnarok. Yeah, Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, that was a good one. I like
that. A few of Iron Man ones. I don't remember which ones. Oh, Doctor Strange.
Yeah. Doctor Strange. I like Doctor Strange.
Black Panther.
Yeah.
And then maybe other ones. Not remembering.
Yeah. Which one's your favorite?
I don't know. I mean, it's easy to say Infinity War since it just does. It's like basically everything. But
yeah.
I like Doctor Strange. I like Benny. Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh yeah. I was like, yeah, no, he's cool. Like I like him. Like I like kind of like the CG that they did around his movements and the sorcery and stuff like that. He's just a cool character.
He always seems to play the arrogant know-it-all.
Yeah, like with Sherlock and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, it's strange.
My wife actually got me to watch that show, and it's actually not bad. It's good.
Yeah, I had heard about it, so I watched it a while back too.
Oh yeah,
it's good.
Yeah. It's not bad. Like I kind of like it. Yeah. So good. I'm good to hear that you guys are gonna be busy this weekend. I'm not gonna be playing games much. I'm kind of swamped with writing and stuff like that. But I might watch Captain Marvel as I mentioned previously. Um, you know what I'm gonna do actually? I was actually thinking about watching another movie, and because you kind of brought it up earlier before, an anime movie, you brought up Digimon. I was thinking about watching the new Dragon Ball Super movie. Do you guys know about that?
Oh yeah.
I heard it was really good. Like my friend said, it was really really good. So, and I actually interviewed
Yeah.
the cast for it. So, I'm excited.
I've heard good things about the movie. I could have gone to see it with my friends, but I'm also not much of a Dragon Ball Z fan. Like I was considering going to see it with them, but what I've watched of the anime, I've been like, because I mean I know this is also a common thing for girls to say.
Mhm.
Like a lot of girls just aren't into Dragon Ball Z as much as guys, and I wouldn't say that's much of a stereotype. It's just
Yeah,
we're
no,
just
I get
not as
it.
interested for whatever reason. Because I don't really know any girls who like Dragon Ball, so I know like two. So
No, I
sort
mean
of,
it's very understandable. It's like it's a bunch of dudes, like muscly dudes, just like screaming at each other, basically.
and then they fight, and then it's just like, okay, but where's the plot?
There is none. Like that's just how it is, you know. But like I love shit like that where it's just like you don't have to think, you know. You don't have to follow anything. It's just people blowing
Yeah.
blowing each other up, you know. That's it. It's mindless, it's dumb, but it's fun, you know. And sometimes you need that type of stuff because you got to give your mind a break and just taking all of the colors on screen and et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna give my mind a break and just give it like this like color sensation wash, and get my senses cleansed through Dragon Ball.
Yeah, like for me, I could Naruto that has fucking plot, but they're still fighting. I could watch that. It still feels like it could be mindless. Watching it like let me just lay back and watch Naruto, like not really do anything. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah,
do
yeah.
that.
Yeah, like Naruto is a very light plot. I feel like it's there if you want to keep up with it, but really what's holding it together are the fights, right? I think
Mhm.
that's a fair assessment. I know probably
Yeah.
fans would you know they'd probably disagree with me, but come on, like it all leads up to the fight with Naruto and Sasuke at the end of it. So
Yeah.
that's really what people wanted all along, and they gave it to them. So yeah. Anyway, that about wraps it up for this episode of the Time Hop Podcast. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Again, my name is Dave Lozada. You can find me on Twitter at XenoCreator125. Lindsay Schubert's here. You can find her on Twitter at InfamYoshi. And Tim Ronan's here, writing articles on Keen Gamer, as he usually does. Typing away, doing his due diligence. Thank you, Tim, for being who you are. I salute you.
My pleasure.
Catch you all next week. Bye.
Bye.